between these teams, and I think when you look at the AFC, certainly the team that has done the best job is the New England Patriots, and that team now sits with home field advantage in their control. And you look at the game today, this is typical New England.
Right.
They don't score an offensive touchdown. Their best drive of the day ends up in a field goal. They get the interception for a score, a safety. It doesn't look like it, but it is dominant football.
Oh, ho-hum for New England, huh? You know, it's amazing to me, too, Tommy, and you AFC teams out there, take notice, because if you're going to the Super Bowl, you're going to go through Foxborough on your way there. And to me, when I watch this team, a bunch of guys, not a lot of superstars, find a way to get it done, but it's the coordinators. Defensive coordinator Romeo Crennel, offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss. We know about Belichick. To me, great head coaches hire great assistants who they expect to be head coaches. It's the best threesome in the league. Get ready, because home field advantage will be in New England.
Yeah, and what a job Tony Dungy is doing with the Indianapolis Colts. They go to Tennessee. They sweep the Tennessee Titans, and I think they do it in the way that this team is going to play, spreading the ball with their MVP candidate, Peyton Manning. I think that he certainly took the edge in that race today. He outplayed Steve McNair in his home stadium, and I think when you look at that ball club, defensively might have to improve a little bit as they get to the playoffs, but they've still got a chance to get to be the #2 seed.
Yeah, Tommy, for me with Indianapolis, it's just the fact that in the past, when they've gone to the playoffs or when they've played, it's been all finesse. This team's physical now, and they beat up on one of the most physical teams in the league, Tennessee, 2 times. I like what Indianapolis is doing.
In the other conference, the NFC, it's Philadelphia. They've now got a spot in the playoffs. They know it. They put the boot on the neck of the Dallas Cowboys, and boy, this team now playing the way they thought they were going to play when they got healthy. You've got Brian Dawkins back in that lineup, Bobby Taylor back in that lineup. Troy Vincent and company allows Jim Johnson, their coordinator, to play that great man coverage and come after the quarterback. So now that offense, speared by Donovan McNabb, defense playing just as well.
Well, this is typical Philadelphia, isn't it? The only thing they want to do is get to that NFC Championship game and close it out and get to the Super Bowl. I think they can, because they're playing physical football. The screen game's the best on the planet, period. I love Jim Johnson, the coordinator. As long as they can play that press man and get to the quarterback, they'll disrupt any quarterback in the NFC or AFC.
Yeah, and when we look at teams that took a step backwards, I'm gonna focus on Kansas City, not the Miami Dolphins. Even though they sit at 11-2, when you look at where they were a couple of weeks ago, 9-0, they expect it to be no less than the 2 seed. It ends up, got 3 games to play. They might end up as a 3 seed playing the first weekend of the playoffs.
That's exactly right. In Seattle, if you want to take notice and have everybody say how good you are in the NFC, I got a real good idea. Win on the road. 1-5 doesn't get you squat. You win against a team that made you look like a Pop Warner team. Yes, they can score. They didn't do it on Sunday. And Tommy, the bottom line is they're going to be going on the road in the playoffs, so they got to find a way to win, or they'll be one and done. That's our showdown Sunday here. Tommy and I, John Anderson, back to you.
Thanks, man. It's the big knob. Turn it all the way to the right. Pump up the volume. Just let the best pro football players wash over you.
He'll go deep. Right side for Randy Moss. And Moss got it! Touchdown! That was one of the greatest catches Randy Moss has ever made.
I would have gone vanilla with that sweater.
Ice cream, $3.
I think I would have parked a little closer.
Gas, $22.
Whoa. I think...
Haircut, $30.
What? I would have looked out for the water main. But that's just me.
Monday morning quarterbacks, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
I would have double bagged it.
Big old Michael Strahan, you ain't got nothing. How about them Cowboys?
Offensive behavior. Another side effect of hunger. Stop hunger from stopping you. Grab a Snickers, peanuts, caramel, and chocolate. Hungry? Grab a Snickers.
All right, bye. Thanks.
Help guard your inbox with automatic virus protection from MSN. Go to msn.com. It's better with the butterfly.
How to speak Australian. Conservationist. Beer. Foster's Australian for beer.
Dear DirecTV, cable says reception quality is poor with satellite TV. Lies! My reception is way better with DirecTV than it ever was with cable. Sincerely, John Amenta. Did I capture the guy's anger? Yeah? Thank you.
Act now and get a 3-room DirecTV system, including equipment and installation, free.
Cut!
Looking for a particular team? Yeah, no Giants jackets? I know where I can find one. Tony, hey, have you guys seen Tiki anywhere? Who? Tiki
No.
Deep right here. Yeah, third long, buddy. Oh, Tiki, can I borrow your jacket?
Rondé. Like ring?
God, always with the Tiki stuff. Hey, Tiki, you got a size 9 up there? Hey, that's the last time.
The NFL Backpatch Jacket by Reebok. Available at Champ Sports.
Hey, you got another one in throwback red? Be right back.
Champ Sports, where sport lives.
Sports Center, brought to you by DirecTV. Movies, music, and exclusive sports from the leader in digital satellite entertainment. And the new NFL Backpatch Jacket by Reebok in your favorite team colors. Only at Champ Sports, where sport lives.
Eddie Kennison, my old friend Eddie Kennison. That's why I brought these. Before you start popping off at the mouth, you need to get you some of these. You know, just because you got wins in the regular season, that don't mean nothing. This team's been 15-1 or whatever going into the playoffs and lost. You know, so is your season good? At the end of the year, there's only going to be one team on top of the heap. And the rest of us are going to be looking, what can we do to try to beat that team? You know, and until you get there, I really don't feel you should make those type of comments.
Hey, if you give it, expect to get it back. Broncos' Rod Smith destroyed Eddie Kennison like Denver destroyed KC. Now pump up the volume.
The handoff again goes to Barcola. He breaks free. He's at the 45-50, 45-40, 35-30, 20, 10. Terrell Barcola for a touchdown! Stewart back to throw. Guns the right side. Oh, yes! Mike McKenzie, left sideline. May go all the way. Cutting it back to the 50. McKenzie into the clear. McKenzie to the 20, to the 15, to the 10. Touchdown!
Back to throw. Fiedler on first down. Fires. Intercepted. Touchdown. Teddy Bruschi. Intercepted. Touchdown. Teddy Bruschi.
Here's it out deep downfield, intended for Marvin Harrison. He got it! What a circus catch! One-handed and pulled it in at the Tennessee 10. Holy mackerel, what a catch by the great one, Marvin Harrison. He'll go deep, right side for Randy Moss, and Moss got it! Touchdown! That was one of the greatest catches Randy Moss has ever made. Willie Mays is blushing right now.
Big hole. 45, 40, 35, 30. Foot race. 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. They ain't going to catch him. Start checking the stat book. His 5th touchdown of the game.
Well, we learned something from Showdown Sunday, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Plenty. We look forward to next week when they show us again.
NFL primetime next. Boomer and TJ. I'm completely out of material.
Done. Material over.
It's Showdown Sunday in NFL prime time in the AFC. Colts Titans, the top spot in the South. Marshall.
Do we have a different host on this show tonight? We might.
Marshall. The Rams are in the house. They're in Cleveland. We got Monday Night Countdown coming up. Right about now on Monday Night Countdown.
Special people make special plays on special days.
Marshall Faulk and the greatest show on turf take it outdoors to Cleveland. Will they be rocked or will St. Louis roll? The team they've got in their sights turned Showdown Sunday into their showcase. While this bucking Broncos showed up the Chiefs in Denver.
They just embarrassed us.
We'll dissect the throwdown between the Titans and Colts. A Miami meltdown in the snow. And a down-and-out team gets a December boost. The playoff picture is jacked up. But we're picking up the pieces next on Monday Night Countdown.
Monday Night Countdown is delivered by UPS.
The look on the shores of Lake Erie of Cleveland Browns Stadium. Monday Night Football from Cleveland in an hour and a half. But right now, it's a special Monday edition of Monday Night Countdown. Look what the cat dragged in, fellas.
I'm a little nervous.
Welcome. Stu is out. He'll be back next week. Don't worry. One that little color to this.
There you go.
I mean, somebody has
There
to
you
do
go.
it. I'm Chris Berman, and welcome aboard. See, you dared me to say it. And I did. What's your name again? You're sitting right next to me, Tom Jackson.
I'm worried about the chemistry. I gotta tell you.
Bunsen burner just tipped over, I'm afraid. Mike Irvin is here. Hello, Michael, in another dazzling suit. This is Monday night. And Jaws.
How do I look?
You know what? You know what? We've never seen Santa and Jaws in the same place. That's true. Something I thought about. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Hey, look, yesterday was Showdown Sunday. You can call whatever you want. Number 1, number 2, and 5 at the different, all of a sudden, some defining games yesterday. Not that many of them were close.
Well, 3 in and 9 to go. That's all I see. You have to get in. I think that anything can happen. You look at this league, you can get beat by 20 one week. You can win by 20 the next week. And I know Cleveland has no chance tonight, but you might as well score on and show up and play.
Those last 9 teams, I just want to make a statement, folks. I have pulled both growers jumping on a bandwagon, off a bandwagon, on this team's wagon, off the team wagon. I don't know who's winning what in this NFL. This is a different NFL.
Donovan McNabb said it best. The NFC Championship goes through Philadelphia. I know, Michael, you don't want to hear that, but it goes through Philadelphia after that whooping they put on Dallas yesterday. But the Rams must keep pace tonight. It's a big game for the Rams
Well, you
tonight.
know what, though? What do you mean bandwagon, huh? I got on a bandwagon in New England and Philly to start the year.
built the
Didn't look too good the first couple of weeks. But you know what those two teams did? They stepped on the necks of the team that were right behind them.
Absolutely.
And that's what, Mike and Tommy, and Jaws, you played on teams that did that. And that's, that's kind of what the position the Rams are in tonight, a little bit. It is Monday Night Football from where it all began, 1970 Cleveland. Do you remember the Browns' first Monday night ever beat Joe Willie Namath and the Jets that night? And an American tradition was born thanks to the vision and persuasion of Brune Arledge and the vision of Pete Rozelle. Monday Night Football hasn't been to Cleveland since the new Browns have existed. Last visit, 1995. Coach of the Browns, the Natalie-clad Bill Belichick. At 4-8 this year, they are hardly the story tonight. It's the 9-3 St. Louis Rams that they have that look again. In odd years, they get to the Super Bowl. Let's see, 1999, 2001, maybe 2003. A win tonight gives them a 2-game lead over the Seahawks in the NFC West, and a win clinches them a playoff berth. To the shores of Lake Erie, and Ed Werder. Hi, Ed.
Hey, Boomer, the Rams players admit they're playing a little bit out of their element tonight, but they say that this could be a good preparation for them if they wind up playing an NFC Championship game in a place like, say, Philadelphia. But Mike Martz says he doesn't address weather with his team, didn't discuss it with them today. He said if you start to talk about it, then they think maybe it can have an effect. And it doesn't have to. Had a chance to speak with Marshall Faulk a few minutes ago. He said, this will be a good test for my knee out here in the cold and on the grass. He said it's about 98%. You might remember he had surgery on it. At the same time, he had that broken hand mended. And last week, I think you saw he's getting a little bit better. He said he would not have been able to make that run where he spins out of a tackle and cuts across the field. That wouldn't have happened a couple weeks ago. As far as the Browns go, Butch Davis says he's starting Kelly Holcomb at quarterback, but Tim Couch is available despite that sprained knee. Browns defensive players, what are they worried about? Well, in this Monday night game, they're worried about being embarrassed by the Ram offense. Kennard Lang put it best. He said, hey, if we thought we saw a lot of beer bottles thrown and a lot of booing a couple years ago, Boomer, imagine what they'll do to us tonight if we give up 50 to the Rams.
Well, good point, Ed, and we'll see you early and often. The well-traveled Ed Werder at Tennessee yesterday, Cleveland today. He's all over America. Ed Werder at a stadium near you. Look, the Jets beat Tennessee last Monday night. We had Carolina lose at Atlanta last night. We had Jacksonville beat Tampa. So can Cleveland make a game of this tonight, Tom?
Well, obviously not. The Rams are only coming to just test the weather. They already said they're looking forward to the next team that they're going to play. But I think, look, we know what the Rams are in that, what's the name of the dome? Edward
W. Jones
So
Dome.
when they went to the Super Bowl in '99, it was dome, dome, dome. When they went to the Super Bowl in 2001, it was dome, dome, dome. Lost the game. I want to see what they are in the, let me see, check the budget. It's cold. I want to see what they're like in the cold.
So do they.
And that's why you'll see a little more of Marshall Faulk tonight. And Mike Martz has had a makeover. He's using Marshall a lot more in the running game. Hey, we all know the Rams want to throw the football. They love those explosive plays. But now they have a tight end, Brandon Manu-Maliuna, 320 pounds. The guy is like a tackle playing tight end. Joey Goodspeed at 6'1", 247 at fullback. They now have some road graders that they can run the ball behind beside the offensive line. I think Marshall Faulk gets his 20 to 25 touches in the running game.
The bottom line here is we're talking about the Rams and the weather. That only matters when the teams are very close. The Rams will blow this team out no matter what. Now, cold weather, it does hurt. But not just the cold. It needs to be wet. Makes that ball heavy. And that ball's not heavy. Mark Bolger will throw to Torrey Holt and will throw to Isaac Bruce. Put a hurting on Cleveland.
Lead pipe lock will be over here by next week.
It will not. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, if they get a big lead, right? If they get a big lead, is it over? If they get a 14-0 lead, is it done?
They're going to start working that ball, getting Marshall Faulk back into shape with the running game.
I don't know. I think Frank Ryan to Gary Collins. Really, oh, I'm sorry. That was another era. When we return on this edition of Monday Night Countdown, Sunday Drive, the magical Michael Vick. Jaws takes you to the big return to the lineup. It was fun to watch, fellas, wasn't it? Plus, the funniest pictures of the year. This was an amazing scene at New England. And what they did after they scored was just like the snow was confetti. It was the best. Hey, Dad, can I come to... Oh, there's our seat. And Mike and TJ debate the importance of Marshall Faulk down the stretch. See, Marshall Faulk running, Tom. I wonder what you're going to pick.
I'm due for you. And in part by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world.
Welcome back to Monday Night Countdown. Stu's off this week. You know, guys, I brought the Browns roster here just in case we wanted to refer to Mike. That's why they play the games. Well, they played a game last night on Sunday Drive. And it was, you know, it was an interesting drive for Mike Vick, wasn't it?
No question, Boomer. I mean, Miss Daisy's going to take you down to Atlanta because we just can't get enough of Michael Vick. And I tell you, he is a pleasure to watch. And our drive is going to be Michael Vick taking his Falcons down the field. Early in the ball game, you see this as they're trying to rally to come back. Michael checking out the designed run. Use the athleticism, pin the defense to the inside, give Michael Vick the edge. Now you see the blockers out in front. They're going to give him a convoy up the sideline. Greg Favors has the angle. Mike Vick sees the cutback. Whoop, as Boomer would say, goes by him.
Good job, Jaws.
Outruns everybody. 43 yards for Michael Vick. This is what he can do. Second down from the Carolina 15. Four-man rush for Carolina. You'll see all verts by Atlanta. Now, what this will do, by all the receivers going deep, create a little void in the zone. Michael Vick sees that, and he takes off for 9 yards. That's what he does with the great vision. Now on the one. Give it inside. No, that's not going to happen. Justin Griffith on the great block right there. Keenan Fournette coming around in the block, and Michael Vick leaps into the end zone to tie the football game. That is a playmaker, Michael. Now, later in the fourth quarter, you're going to see Carolina rushing 4 on this 2nd and 7. But it's kind of a mush rush. They want to keep Michael in the pocket. Excellent move away from the rush. Drills Al-J Crumpler for 19 yards. Here's the matchup you want to get. Al-J Crumpler on a linebacker, Brian Allen. Look at the move by Vick. Flicks that ball to Crumpler for 19 yards. 15 seconds to go. Now look at this rush. Carolina brings 6. They want Michael to throw it. They want to keep him in the pocket. He's not going to beat us with his legs. Uh-oh, Michael gets the matchup he wants. Deion Grant, Al-J Crumpler underthrows the football. Deion Grant makes a great play. Michael's not happy with that. But the defense picks up their game. Jake Delhomme drops back, tries to hit Musa Muhammad with a crossing pattern. Kevin Mathis picks it off. Michael Vick played offense. But I tell you what, the one thing you see about the entire football team when Michael Vick is there, the defense came to the party. Special teams, except for the place kicker, coming to the party, making plays. Michael Vick takes everybody's level up.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what makes him a great player. And the other thing is you can't prepare for him. You know, who's gonna be Michael Vick in practice? You can put the jersey on him, but you can't find anybody who can do what Mike Vick can do.
Snap. They've been waiting all year for this snap.
That's
and right. I mean, you saw it. I know the Jets also. Like Pennington.
Absolutely.
Bring the juice. With a little bit and daylight coming, they had to go home, huh? With Poor Jake.
Would have been nice if Musha Muhammad would actually run that route, not stopped on it.
We're going to talk
That's
to
a
him
whole
about
nother
that,
issue.
but that'll be the next segment. Let's go down to Atlanta now, who was a home game last night. See, Mort gets on the show, and we all pick up the pace. Mort's with us for hello, Mortimer. We missed your snide comments in the room yesterday. Look, we've already seen what happens when Michael Vick is back. They win, so supposing they win a few more. Will Dan Reeves' job be saved if this happens?
Interesting question, Boomer, and I think it's one that Arthur Blank, the owner, has to ponder, because when you look at this with Dan Reeves, in light of what happened last night, and as you said, if they continue to win this week, Dan Reeves has won 200 games in his career. He has gone to 4 Super Bowls, including the only appearance by the Atlanta Falcons without Michael Vick. He is the guy who brought Michael Vick to Atlanta by pulling the trigger on the trade before Arthur Blank was the owner. And in Michael Vick's first full year of starting last season, the Falcons went to the second round of the playoffs. Can you, in fact, fire a man with those credentials when your franchise player clearly cost the team? Who knows? He might have cost them all 10 wins. I just think that's something that Arthur Blank's going to have to ponder very hard, even though the expectations in Atlanta is that Reeves is gone.
Well, we'll see. I mean, a lot of things can change. The Falcons in Indy next week, that'll be a tough task. I don't care who's your quarterback to play the Colts. Another player trying to come back, and another team, actually, which is not what we're going to discuss now, that's starting to win here at the end of the year, the Buffalo Bills, and that might change some things. Willis McGahee in Buffalo. Will we see him on the field this week, Mort?
Well, you know, there's a better chance of it than that was on Sunday. And here's the thing, and it's tied to Michael Vick in a way. Willis McGahee had that catastrophic knee injury with the Miami Hurricanes back in January. He is stable. He's been practicing now for a month. He looks better. This is not about Travis Henry, who's running wonderfully, but the Bills would like McGahee to get on the field last 2 or 3 weeks, get 8 to 10 carries a game, just to get over the psychological hump that Michael Vick clearly had to get over when he was returning from his injury. They'd like to do that for McGahee rather than have to sit a year and a half before he even finds out himself how it's going to hold up.
That way, you know what?
One last quick note here, Boomer. I'm sorry. Rex Grossman may get the start for the Bears this week. He's in the mix, and Josh McCown will start for Jeff Blake against the Carolina Panthers. Probably won't be like Michael Vick starting against the Panthers, but Grossman has a chance to make his debut for the Bears. If not this week, then certainly the week after.
Well, Dick Duran was saying, Mort, that they were going to wait till they were pretty much out of the race before he took a look at the rookie. The Bears kind of hung in there a little bit, but now it will be time. And McGahee, just that he's back even looking that good is impressive. We'll see you later, Mort, on Kurt Warner's future in St. Louis. So don't go very far, right? All right, that's a deal, obviously. Coming up, Torrey Hope, chance to break Jerry Rice's single-season receiving yards record. We will hear from the Rams' Pro Bowl receiver as he prepares for the Monday night spotlight. And speaking of great receivers, Randy Moss and the Vikes, boy, did they snap out of their slump. We're from the NFC Norris Division leaders. The Monday Night Countdown continues. Oh, that's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, man. But don't be cruel. Sunday Night Football on ESPN. Deuce McAllister and the New Orleans Saints host Michael Strahan and the New York Football Giants. Giants Saints, Sunday night, 8:30 Eastern, after NFL primetime at 7:30, and on ESPN HD. Yesterday, the Minnesota Vikings did a marvelous imitation of themselves by smashing the Seattle Seahawks 34-7. They didn't at all look like the team that was sputtering along at 1-5 in their last 6, trying to throw away the NFC Norris division. They look like the early season Vikings, who started 6-0, went bombs away to Randy Moss, and turned interceptions into touchdowns to an upbeat Twin Cities and our man George Smith.
Just hours after celebrating a critical win over the Seahawks, led by one of their best defensive performances of the year, the Vikings learned they'd be losing their defensive coordinator.
It was expected, but everyone's excited for him. You know, you wish him nothing but the best of luck. You know, it's one of those things that was going to come anyway, eventually. So it's just one of those things you just get out of the way and let everyone know.
We're happy that one of our coaches is able to, you know, get a head coaching job, and beyond that, he's got a job to finish here, and he'll finish it.
O'Leary will stay with the Vikings until the season ends, so he'll essentially have 2 jobs, a prospect that doesn't seem to thrill Mike Tice, but he insists it won't be a problem.
His time will be here and finishing what he has to do here. That's it. It may be a legitimate question. It doesn't mean I have to answer it. Okay, I'm worried about beating Chicago. George is worried about beating Chicago. It's all that really matters.
We all are grown men. We're professionals, and we know we have a job at hand right now, and he knows that. He knows, he won't let this be a distraction, I don't think. and neither will the team.
Culpepper is especially excited because O'Leary will be coaching at his alma mater. While he wouldn't be specific, Culpepper said he had conversations with people connected to Central Florida about O'Leary. And Boomer, he said O'Leary's a great coach and will be a great recruiter.
No, that's sure to be, George. Thank you very much. And, you know, you saw that game with the Vikings yesterday, fellas. Those deep fly patterns to Randy Moss. I mean, just run toward the goalpost and keep going. And I'm sure if he was in the CFL, we would run 80 yards and it would be out there, wouldn't it, guys?
Hey, thanks, Boom. Well, we want to show you guys one of the things that make Randy the best wide receiver in this league today. The way he keeps his eyes on the ball without showing much expression. First, I want to show you the video of what happened yesterday. Guys, let's get to the video. This is Randy Moss, and this is a split screen, so you can see the quarterback throwing the ball right now. Now, I want you to look at Randy Moss. Eyes up. He never makes any kind of gesture towards the ball. DBs are taught to read and react till it's too late. It's too late for them to read and react. Now, we're going to come back. Now, I want to show you this on the football field. Tom, I want you to play wide receiver for me. Now, let's imagine you have already gotten behind me. I know that's impossible, but you're behind me already. and you're the wide receiver. I am the DB. Now, the ball is up in the air, and you look up in the air. A DB is taught, when I see his eyes get big and his hands come up, I'm raking. I'm raking that one hand to try to make him drop the ball. Drop the ball. Now, Randy does this great. Tom, now you play the DB. I'm going to play the wide receiver.
This could happen.
Now, Randy is great at this. When he's running, the ball is in the air. And he's watching the ball the whole while. I want you folks to understand the talent it is to understand where is this ball is going. Watch the trajectory and everything. And then at the last minute, put his arms right there. Right there. He never even lets his hands come up. He never does anything. So the DB, you can never react to it, folks, until it's too late. And it's already CIX, and they got you on a poster.
But, you know, but here's the key, the throw. Great catch by Randy Moss. Here's what Dante Culpepper is thinking. As Moss is going down the field, if the corner's outside, he's going to bring him back to the inside. If the corner's on the inside, he's going to bring him back to the outside. On that play, he was double covered. He had outside leverage and inside leverage. So Dante Culpepper, what he does, he supernates the wrist, gets the hand under the ball, throws the ball real high. That's the key to it. So the ball now comes just like Christmas Eve, Santa Claus. The ball comes down the chimney where only Randy Moss could catch the football.
He supernates the wrist.
Supernates the wrist.
And for the record, folks, there is no overthrowing Randy Moss. Just throw it out there. Yeah. He'll be the only one.
That was an omnibus statement I made.
Here's the only thing I want to say. 2 times a quarter, not a Randy ratio, but 2 times a quarter, 8 times a game, you need to find that, as Boone put it, the fly pattern and let it go. 14 points minimum out of those 8 routes.
Certainly looked good yesterday. You guys are good on this. Coming up, Torrey Holt. Speaking of a guy having a Clinton Portis, having a monster day against the Chiefs. 5 touchdowns. We'll tell you what yesterday's games meant for the AFC playoff picture later on Monday Night Countdown. And there's Torrey Holt. See, I just wanted to get you ready for it. Having a monster year for the Rams. Holt joins us to talk about the Rams' bid to clinch a playoff berth.
Shift the way you move through the world.
Should we go inside the numbers? Torrey Holt, you know, he hasn't been around that long. Only his 11th Monday night game, but already has 600-yard games on Monday night. Only Jerry Rice has more. Holt going for number 7 tonight. And Ed Werder caught up with him earlier this evening in Cleveland.
Thanks, Boomer. Torrey Holt's the NFL's leading receiver, and this morning Mike Martz told me he considers him one of the best 5 players in the entire league, regardless of position. Torrey, obviously it's not windy, it's not wet, but it's pretty cold. How does that affect you in the passing game?
Well, you know, we can't let it affect us. You know, we have a job to do. Obviously, we will need the passing game tonight. We will need to make some plays in the passing game. So we really can't get too focused in on how cold it is. We just have to go out and just play the type of ball that we're capable of playing.
Mark Bulger's 15-3 as a Rams starter the last 2 years, yet there still seems to be league-wide some skepticism about him. What does he need to do to escape the stigma of being the guy who replaced Kurt Warner?
Well, all he has to do for us is just win football games, get us lined up, get the ball where it's supposed to be, and allow us to make plays. That's all he has to do for this football team, and not worry about what he has to do for everybody on the outside. And he's doing that. He's winning ball games for us. He's continuing to get better as a football player every single week. And that's the most important thing for this football team, for this organization, is what he does for us.
Well, individually, you've done a lot for the Rams. In fact, you're on a record pace. You could finish at current projections with 1,849 receiving yards, which would break by 1 yard Jerry Rice's single-season record. How meaningful is that to you in the context of winning games, too?
You know, if I was to get that record, it'd be great. You know, just to be mentioned amongst the name of Jerry Rice and Moss and Terrell Owens and Isaac and Jimmy Smith, those guys that's done so many great things for this league, and to be mentioned amongst those guys makes me feel good. So if I get the record, it'd be great. But as long as this football team wins games and we win games late, that's all that matters.
Well, you know, Jaws is just about to break you down on tape. I wonder if you have any words of advice for him as he takes a hard look at you.
Jaws, take care of me, brother. Take care of me, okay? Don't hurt me.
All right. Back to you, Jaws.
Aw, Torrey, I'm going to take real good care of you because you are my big play receiver. And there is no question the Rams are a big play team. In fact, they have 54 pass plays of 20 yards or more. That's by far the most in the National Football League. And one of the keys to that success throwing the deep ball is Marc Bulger and his ability to manipulate the secondary. The Rams spread the field in this single-back formation with 3 wide receivers and a tight end. Big play receiver Torrey Holt is in the slot, and the play call is 3 vertical routes down the field. Focus on Holt. He gets a clean release, avoiding the underneath defender, and attacks the seam with speed. Along with the outside receivers burst off the line, the corner is in a bind, forced to play 2 screaming vertical routes in his zone. Bulger drills it between the corner and safety, in stride to Holt for the first down. Let's go to the end zone. Focus on Bulger's head as he drops back. He is clearly staring to the right, hoping to influence the safety that way. Now watch the effect Bulger's pump fake has on the safety. The sell is beautiful, causing the safety to commit and opening the seam for Holt. Back to the snap one last time. In new Mike Martz fashion, the Rams think protection first, keeping in 7 to protect. The pass protection nullifies the blitz. Bulger gets the safety, and the route combination beats the corner, resulting in a beautifully executed 38-yard gain. Remember this, Marc Bulger is still an inexperienced quarterback. He's only started 18 games in the National Football League. Mike Martz understands that. That's why he has gone to a protection-first scheme. He wants to get Bulger comfortable in the pocket. The other thing that is done by blocking 8 and allowing 2 receiver routes, when you look at Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt, they are at their best going deep. With Bulger time in the pocket, they can now execute those deep plays.
And let's not make a mistake here. Mike Martz wants to be known as a pass-throwing genius. And what does he do with that? First, it was Kurt Warner. He loved to throw at Kurt Warner. Everybody said, build a team around Marshall Faulk. Now, Marshall Faulk is like, he still will build this team around Torrey Holt. It is Torrey's team. 8 100-yard games. You know, folks, only 11 is the record. That's my record. Of course, 11 is the record. So somebody need to stop him soon because he's on pace for these last 4 games to break the record.
Yeah, but I think that when you have Marshall Faulk and you have a healthy Marshall Faulk, you still have to allow him to be the heart and soul of your football team. This will make Marc Bulger comfortable. And don't tell me you can't use this. This is with nobody really blocking until he actually starts getting downfield, surrounded by 8, 9 Minnesota Vikings, comes out of it. This is what will get you to that next Super Bowl appearance. I think it's going to be March. You know, I have brought Mike Martz a long way. We used to pass 80% of the time, and we would run 20%. Now we down to 65, 35.
Be going to that golf tournament.
I won't be going.
Oh, yeah, you
I won't be
good.
attending.
But you know what, though?
It's a good time, Tom.
But with either not debating it, pass, run, they are the most authoritative team in the NFC, either side of the ball. The way that offense is, they just are. We've only reached halftime for Monday Night Countdown. Cue up the marching bands. Still ahead on Monday Night Countdown. We'll go backstage with Marshall Faulk to talk about making big plays and making music videos with Nelly.
I'm not a video buff. I don't see myself in a lot of videos. No. And I'm not a dancer or nothing like that. I'm not a flashy cat.
Last week, Faulk passed Jim Brown on the all-time touchdown list.
but Brown's greatness on the field has never been surpassed. We'll look back at his long road to football immortality.
15, 10, 5, they ain't gonna catch him. Touchdown, Denver.
Clinton Portis had a Hall of Fame performance against the Chiefs. How a showdown Sunday shaped the playoff picture in the AFC. And go on the field with Broncos linebacker Al Wilson in tonight's Soundtracks.
This prime time right here. You play a game for a living. You grew up watching this.
Plus, Michael unveils his list of Sunday's top playmakers. And TJ breaks out the weekend's greatest hits when we get jacked up as Monday Night Countdown rolls on.
You are watching Monday Night Countdown, delivered by UPS.
The 2004 ESPN Sports Almanac, a perfect holiday.
The chefs like that. Clinton Portis, my #1 playmaker from the U. That's it, Boom. You got it now.
That's unbelievable. We just wind you up. Is that what happens?
Yeah, baby.
But you know what, though? You taught Marvin so well. You want Torrey Holt stop tonight? Marvin's 6 behind you now. Catches. Somebody stop Marvin Harrison.
Somebody get on Marvin Harrison. You're right about that.
Well, of course, Monday Night Football, we're getting set to see the Cleveland Browns at home against the St. Louis Rams, and we're going to get a chance to talk to Coach John Madden. Boy, I talked to him 2 times in 2 days' time. You think rumors are going to start? At any rate, I asked him a little bit earlier. Quiet. I asked him a little bit earlier. It's steady dose of Marshall Faulk tonight, Coach?
You know, I think that's a big thing with the Rams. You know, you look at and you say this is the time that you want to be peaking, the time that you want to be getting back and getting Marshall Faulk back and fresh and the old Marshall Faulk. You know, he broke his hand. Then when he broke his hand, they thought, well, we have an opportunity here to operate on his knee, and they found some stuff in there. They cleaned it out, and just watching Marshall Faulk play, and he is the heart and soul of this team, and watching him play, he's back to what he was a couple years ago.
And as a football fan, it's just fun to see it no matter who you're rooting for. Let's go back to yesterday, a big day all around the NFL. Indianapolis's win, huge, John. You know, they got the best road record in the NFL away from their dome at 6-1. Is that more than enough to convince you that they can win anywhere?
Yeah, I think they can because, you know, they're a good team. I mean, they have all the elements. And when you have Peyton Manning running it, and you have Marvin Harrison out there, and you have Edgerrin James, I mean, that's a good formula. Their defense is a little better, but it really is an advantage to play at home. I mean, if they can play at home in the Dome, they're going to be a lot better team. And I remember talking to Tony Dungy in the preseason, and he said, our first goal is to beat Tennessee. He said, we always go to the playoffs and say, well, we lose in the playoffs, we get blown out in the playoffs. But he said, we have to go back to our division. Start winning our division, and then start getting some home playoff games and see if we can't go a little deeper into this playoff situation.
Kansas City Chiefs, they've only lost 2 games all year, but boy, yesterday was an eye-opener. The last 4 games, John, they've given up nearly 800 yards rushing. Should Dick Vermeil really concerned about this at this point?
Yeah, I mean, you always have to be concerned as a coach. I mean, everything concerns you and worries you, or you wouldn't be a coach. And Dick Vermeil's been in it long enough to know how to worry. But, you know, we've talked about this before, that there's no dominant teams in the NFL. So, therefore, everyone's going to have some yeah-buts. And Kansas City's yeah-but is their defense. I mean, you look at their offense, I mean, they can throw it, they can run it. Priest Holmes, they have good special teams. Yeah, but their defense isn't dominant. But everyone has something like that. When Kansas City plays their best defense is when they get turnovers. So their offense has to win games for them, and their defense has to help them by getting some turnovers.
John, we've got a dozen backs over 1,000 yards, all right? You know, we got 3 games left in the season. We've never had a season in the NFL since we went to 60-game season that 4 backs have rushed for 1,600 yards. Yeah, we got 4 at 1,400 already. Does this mean a resurgence in the running game league-wide?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think everyone knows that even though it's a passing league, you're going to have to be able to run it. And what they're doing, a lot of these teams are using that 8th man up, the 8 man in the box, bring that safety down. And then so when they do that, then you have to pass them out of that. Then when you get them off and you only have 7 there, you can really run against them.
Well, last Monday night you saw the Jets surprise Tennessee. We here on ESPN saw Jacksonville surprise. A week ago, Tampa Bay. We saw Atlanta surprise Carolina. Maybe Cleveland pulls a big surprise tonight. It would be big, though, wouldn't it, John?
it would be very big, and they would need a heck of a lot of help from this weather and this field.
Well, stranger things have happened on the shores of Lake Erie. We'll be tuning in. Thanks, as always. Good to see you. See you next weekend.
Okay, boom.
All Madden, brought to you by T-Mobile. Get more All Madden text message alerts every week, only on your T-Mobile phone. Sign up at ESPN.com.
Coming up, you know about Jim Brown's great NFL career. We'll show you how Brown's improbable climb to the NFL in tonight's Take Two.
The Syracuse coaches actually did not want him. This was the stupidest player evaluation I ever heard of.
Marvin Harrison and the Colts snatched away control of the AFC division away from the Titans. We'll hear from the NFL's Road Warriors.
Feeling trapped because you're attached to your wireless number? Take your number to a better place. Join T-Mobile, the best value in wireless, and get 3-day weekends.
T-Mobile, get more.
2 amps to lights, please.
Amstel Light, official beer of the Ski Lodge.
Ask your doctor if Celebrex is right for you. Or call 1-888-CELEBREX.
With a 140 horsepower engine and responsive handling, we put the fun back into the compact car. The Saturn Ion. Finance a new 2004 Saturn Ion 1 with air conditioning and CD player for $179 a month. See your retailer for details.
Ready for another light beer?
Other light beers have their place. We just don't recommend drinking them. Amstel Light, the beer drinker's light beer.
I want a message, Sam. You make it clear I own this town.
Last Tuesday, ABC shattered the boundaries of network television.
Why is Malloy always one step ahead of us?
This Tuesday, prepare to cross the line.
Anything you see around here belongs to Mr. Malloy.
Again.
What do you want to do? Steal the money back? Yeah.
Mortal enemies who live by the same code.
FBI!
Loyalty is rewarded.
Something's wrong.
Betrayal is punished. A new Line of Fire. ABC Tuesday, 10/9 Central. Viewer discretion is advised.
If I only could win on the road. Mark Bulger. And they can win on the road. They're the one team in that division that has won on the road. One of the reasons that they have a chance to be 2 games up if they beat the Browns tonight. Mark Bulger and the Rams. Mort back with us again. God, we've seen him enough. Mort, the Cowboys they're still right in the playoff mix despite their loss yesterday, but there may be more intrigue in Dallas this offseason. How about them Cowboys?
How about that Swami record?
Oh, it all works out in the end, Mort. Don't forget.
Well, listen, here's the thing about the Cowboys that's interesting. Obviously, they've overachieved in the eyes of many, winning 8 games, and I think they still have a chance to win 9 or 10. They might make a wild card spot. But one of the issues I think that you're going to see in the offseason is how Bill Parcells and Jerry Jones reconcile the issue that Parcells has, I think, even with a very good defense. They're just not big enough in the front for Parcells' desires, I think. He's always liked the bigger guys. These guys are quick, they're tough, they're fast, they get to the ball. But as the season has moved on here, are they wearing down? And will Parcells be able to convince Jerry Jones they need to change some of the personality and the physicality of that side of the ball?
Mort, John Gruden knows a lot about winning. Obviously, the Bucs won it all last year. They're still alive, but not in great shape. He found another motivational tool in an unusual place this week.
I figured out Gruden might need an extra hour or 2 to sleep because on Saturday night in New Orleans, before they played the Saints, he always makes this big motivational speeches. A lot of coaches do, especially before big games. But this time, he settled, as the team settled down into their chairs, he starts telling them how he went out to the movies Friday night with his boys to see the movie Elf. and he starts telling him how Santa's sleigh doesn't run on gas and it doesn't run on all reindeer, that it runs on spirit. And he tells a story about once or two more times, and all of a sudden, everybody in the place is cracking up. And I don't think he intended it to be comedy, by the way. So the guys yesterday, they ran on spirit and got back into the playoff race.
Santa can fire up anybody. We know that. Right, Jaws? The Ravens defense, Mort, shut down John Kitna and the Bengals yesterday. Perhaps the happiest player on the Ravens is one of their youngest players, huh?
That's right. It's Terrell Suggs, the former Arizona State defensive end. Got his 9th and 10th sacks. Of course, you know, he was supposed to be taken in the top 5. He slipped to them at number 10. Now he has 10 sacks. It means he kicks in some escalators on his contract. He gets bonuses for this 10th sack. That was part of the deal. But as he noted to reporters yesterday, he's going to have to pay some of that extra money to his cousin because last Thursday, driving in the snow for the first time, he slid off the road and totaled his cousin's car into a telephone pole. He was okay, but the car is not. He owes his cousin some money.
Driving in the snow, playing in the NFL, it all takes some experience. You going to come see us in person next week, Mort?
I may try and do that, so I'm get back to slapping you guys around a little bit.
That's mighty large of you, Mort. Take the rest of the night off.
All right.
Mortimer, if they only knew. It's been one test after another passed this season by the Indianapolis Colts. The latest test, a sweep over a Tennessee team that used to own them. In Tennessee, where the Titans had won 11 straight games. In Tennessee, where college hero Peyton Manning had never won as a pro. And the 29-27 win puts Indy in the AFC South driver's seat. They're 10-3. They're 1 up on the Titans, but having swept them, it really means they're 2 up with 3 to go. Tony Dungy gave the players a well-deserved day off today, but, of course, he was hard at work. So was our John Barr.
To see these Indianapolis Colts win, it's easy to get lost in the high-flying excitement of it all.
He got it! What a circus catch! One-handed! Holy mackerel, what a catch by the great one, Marvin Harrison.
The team has scored more than 30 points 6 times. Peyton Manning is having what many consider an MVP year. But to a defensive-minded coach, a team that dazzles offensively still leaves much to be desired.
Are you playing Tony Dungy football?
We are on offense. We just aren't on defense yet.
Over the last 10 games, the Colts have surrendered an average of 25.5 points.
How long can you continue to win doing that?
Not very long. You know, our offense is playing well, and it's just too many points to give up.
So how are the Colts winning? The game against Tennessee offers a reflection of what the team has done all year. Indianapolis won the turnover battle with 3 fumble recoveries on special teams. The Colts remain 3rd in the league in turnover ratio. And they have the hottest kicker in the league. Mike Vanderjagt hasn't missed all year. And when Dungy needed his defense to come up big, it did, stopping the Titans' 2-point conversion attempt in the final minutes.
It's just doing your job and being able to do it when the stakes are high and when it's critical. And the more we can do that, the more we're going to win.
The stakes haven't been this high for the Colts in years, but the team knows it has to exercise the demons of its playoff past. Nobody here forgets the demoralizing 41-0 defeat to the Jets in New York last year, and Boomer Peyton Manning still hasn't won a playoff game in his career.
That's true, but it's about to change, John. I mean, that's really what we're saying. All right, guys, number 1 versus number 2. Let's take the 4 AFC divisions where it was perfect, all right? Indy over Tennessee, New England over Miami, Baltimore over Cincinnati, Denver over Kansas City in the 1 versus 2. Denver was 2, beating 1. Who were the biggest winners yesterday? What's the biggest statement?
Boomer, clearly Indy.
Is it the Colts?
No question in my mind, it was Indy. And let me dispel the myth that the Colts are a finesse football team. Under Tony Dungy, they have now become a physical football team. They have stacked up against Tennessee Titans twice, and Tennessee prides themselves in being the most physical football team. They believe in the theory of reduction. Beat on you till you don't want to get up anymore. Well, the Indianapolis Colts have beaten Tennessee 2 times. Clearly, they can now line up and play the smash mouth style and win.
It's hard for me to pick one. I think Indy was a big one, and of course, New England was the big one. But when it comes to Indy, I think Indy will still have a problem if they don't get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They played yesterday in Tennessee. was just a little cold. But to go to New England or to have to go to Kansas City, I don't think as physical as you think they are, they'll be able to match up and hold up in bad weather.
Well, they've done a pretty good job on the road. But when I look at the team to beat in the AFC right now, I think that it's New England. They can beat you in a lot of different ways. They can beat you anywhere. Their offense yesterday did not score an offensive touchdown. I think that 3-0 field goal would have held up no matter what the score became. And I think that one of the big issues is they've gone through the last month. You look at Ted Washington, whether it was Sam Coward in Buffalo, whether it was Brian Urlacher in Chicago, now it's Teddy Bruschi and company. You put the big fella in the middle of the football field, you get instant interior run defense, and it allows everybody to run and go do their thing. Well, he had 10 tackles yesterday.
Teddy?
And
for defensive tackle.
Ted Washington had 10 tackles, and you never heard his name mentioned.
But don't you understand? They should be flagged. Too many men on the field. He's but everywhere he goes, right? Buffalo, good defense. Chicago, good defense.
That's right.
You know, it didn't work out in the beginning.
He's the big guy.
He is the big guy. He's made that team the best defense that they've been all year. They're still getting better. And better. You know, New England's now won 9 straight. They've won it in all sorts of manners, all sorts of weather. Yesterday, after 2 feet of snow fell in the Boston area, a perfect time for an ice-cold Bruschi. Teddy Bruschi, how does he make that grab in that cold? But this was the best thing. The snow in the air. I was in New England last week. I asked him about a smart defense.
I think the one thing you gotta have is intelligence, because you're not really doing the same thing from week to week. In this defense, you got this gap. In this defense this week, you're gonna have a different one. You know, so you got to really be smart.
I saw what a close-knit group this group is. Very close. Dominoes, playing table games together, always joking and laughing. But when it's time to take care of business, really classroom guys and really professional guys.
Well, and you hear it. They're smart. They go to work. And as we go inside the numbers, you know, one thing, the Patriots now have not allowed a touchdown in their last 4 home games. The last teams to do that in the 30s. Tom, you remember the 38 and 37 New York football team?
I played that team.
I swamped the 1934 Detroit Lions, and you know, the Brooklyn Dodgers 33. You know what the best thing about? You know what the best thing about New England was? How about the fans, huh?
Yeah, it's great.
Incredible. You think that was unbelievable?
Whoa! Jeez Louise! Whoa!
Great.
Whoa!
I just thought it was great. I thought it was
real snow.
There goes the set. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's good.
That's all right. Only Boone can pull that. He owns the whole thing. Only Boone can do that.
That was not quite. Look, I'm sorry, Tom.
That's okay.
It'll dry up. It'll dry up. All right, now, yesterday's losses. Look, Miami was not going to come up and win in the snow. But of the teams that lost yesterday, sorry about those notes. How about the losses? Who suffered the most?
I think Tennessee suffered the most. You watch Tennessee. When I watched them earlier, they were scoring 30 points every game, 6 games in a row. I was like, how are they doing this? They were finding ways to win. This was a fortunate team, but their fortunes have turned. Now, let's look at Tennessee. Now, they are finding ways to lose. Steve McNair did a great job of putting this team in position to win. And I tell you guys, look at this play right here. They told that fella on the sideline, whatever you do, just don't fumble. Tom, you know that's what the coach said. Whatever you do, just don't fumble.
Right.
And he went out and he fumbled anyway. Tennessee right now finding ways to lose ball games.
I'm going to pick an odd team, the Kansas City Chiefs. I know that they're 11-2, but I think what a big psychological loss for them against the Broncos because of the nature of the loss. When you see Clinton Portis in the 2 games that he's played against the Chiefs, even the one that they lost, 6 touchdowns, 359 yards running the football, 45 carries. That's 8 yards per carry. They have the portable game plan. And when you talk to Dick Vermeil early on in this season, the thing that he thought would happen is they would get better in terms of their defense. They were thin defensively, but very athletic up front. This guy is their worst nightmare, his ability to get downhill on the safety, make one cut, and then get himself into the end zone. And I think that you looked a couple of weeks ago, boy, we thought that Kansas City was clearly going to be the #1 seed. Now you think they'll probably be the #2 seed, but boy, you got 3 games left. they could end up as a number 3
Let me
seed.
check that out, Tommy. I got the blueprint here. Okay, I got the blueprint. We got this covered, you know. Yeah, granted, the Chiefs are having a little trouble stopping the run right now. But, you know, you can look at their depth, which they don't have depth on the defensive line, that side of the football. But the key to good defense is gap discipline. I don't care how good your defensive linemen are. I don't care how good your linebackers are. I don't care how good your third level players are. You must maintain your gap discipline. Now, of course, Clinton Portis had a big game yesterday. In the first half, he only had 30 yards because the Chiefs played good defensive discipline. The second half, they fell apart. They missed their gap responsibility. They missed the area that they needed to hit to stop Clinton Portis. And Clinton Portis is a special back.
That's right.
He runs for a lot of yards, gets a lot of defense.
You know, of all the losers yesterday who really lost the least, they wanted to win it. But Bengals, when you play three in a row on the road,
That's right. They lost the least. They lost the least. They lost the least, and they're still only a game out, and they split with the Ravens.
So we'll see what happens.
That's right.
Eventually, Baltimore will go on the road, although Baltimore's earned it. They're scoring a lot of points now, that's for sure.
There were Bengal fans in my hotel. It was great. I haven't seen Bengal fans.
Well, yesterday we talked about from the U, Clinton Portis became only the 5th player to rush for 5 touchdowns in a game. Legendary Ernie Nevers. 6 back in 1929. Buffalo in the AFL days, Cookie Gilchrist did it. Surprise, Jimmy Stewart of Jacksonville in 1997. And no surprise, Jim Brown of the Cleveland Browns. 5 rushing touchdowns, 1 game. Still arguably, in fact, Tom, not arguably, he was the greatest runner of all time.
Absolutely.
But how he got to that point is almost an incredible journey. Our take 2 in Jim Brown.
Jim Brown's the greatest football player to ever play in the National Football League.
Speed, power, passion.
Jim Brown, the greatest running back that has ever breathed.
If there are football gods, then certainly Jim Brown is football's Hercules. And like his Greek counterpart, Brown overcame many obstacles on an odyssey to NFL greatness that started on a small island off the coast of Georgia.
St. Simon's Island was a sleepy place when Jim lived there till the age of 8 years old. He was raised by a great-grandmother who was a little wisp of a woman but would take a switch to him if he didn't obey her commands.
Nora was like the elder statesperson in the family, and she really instilled a lot of values in the family. My dad loved her. She raised him and gave him a good, wholesome start in life.
He came in around here with my son, and they go fishing and grabbing and whatever. But when I tell them to be back a certain time, they had to be back a certain time.
Mm-hmm. And if they didn't come back a certain time, what would you do?
Spank him good.
So you did about to spank Jim Brown?
That's right.
After the death of his great-grandma, Jim would leave the familiar setting he had known all his life to live with his struggling single mother who had settled in a New York suburb over 900 miles away.
She had gotten a job as a domestic, a live-in job with a family named Brockman.
We lived in a little apartment over the garage in Great Neck, and my mother was their maid, and she sent me to a school in Manhasset.
Facing the struggle of being a young black man in a predominantly white town, the reticent Brown kept to himself.
Kind of quiet. I mean, as far as conversation, that he really wasn't a person who did a lot of talking.
It was in the world of sports where Brown took his refuge, and his talent did all the talking for him.
He was a competitor from the very beginning. We played baseball together, played lacrosse together, we played basketball together, and football together. And all of those sports, Jim excelled.
Brown's athletic achievements were known to everyone in town, including a community leader who would help change his life.
There was a man named Kenneth Malloy who was a little Irish lawyer in Manhasset.
Kenny was a factor in my life ever since I was 13 years old. Kenny was like my surrogate father. I loved him, you know, always respect him, always knew what goodness was. He just helped people, you know, nothing in it for him other than just seeing kids get to school that normally wouldn't get to school.
After leading his team to its first undefeated season in 29 years, some 45 Division I schools were in hot pursuit of Jim Brown, yet he received a chilly reception from Ken Malloy's alma mater.
Well, you have to understand that Syracuse really didn't want me.
There was some prejudice involved at that particular time. You know, if you think about it, early 50s, Jackie Robinson.
So Kenneth Malloy rounded up a bunch of businessmen in Manhasset and got them to put up a pot. to send him to Syracuse. And he didn't tell Jim Brown about this. Jim Brown thought Syracuse wanted him.
It was very difficult at that time, probably the most difficult time in my whole career as far as sports and education, because they just didn't want me.
When Brown got his chance to start, the only ones who didn't want him on the field was the opposition.
The upset is completed in the third period when Jimmy Brown breaks loose for a spectacular game.
Jim Brown dispelled all doubts about his ability as he rushed through the record books of Syracuse and the NFL. The little boy from St. Simon's Island endured and overcame all his trials to become a giant among NFL legends.
The understatement of the year, and a pretty good bank in his own right today. Marshall. We'll go backstage with Marshall Faulk when the show continues.
Eat Roy Williams, playmaker.
Ahmed Werder at Cleveland Stadium. You know, Lovie Smith, in 4 seasons as a defensive assistant under Tony Dungy in Tampa, helped build one of the great defenses in NFL history. Now in his 3rd season as a defensive coordinator for the Rams, he's expounded on the principles of the Tampa Cover 2, the most copied defense in the NFL. He's added more man coverages, a lot more blitzing. The Rams lead the NFL with 36 takeaways. And think about this. In the last 4 games, the Rams defense has scored as many touchdowns as Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce combined. But despite all the big plays on defense, the players have had to accept the fact that this franchise is always going to be synonymous with high-scoring offense.
When I think of the Rams, I think of offense, really, first.
Offense. I mean, that's the first thing people think of the greatest show on turf. I mean, they never think about the defense.
They're still going to run the show here in St. Louis, but we want to get a little bit. You know, we just want a little taste of what it's like to be in the limelight.
The emerging dominant figure on the defense is left end Leonard Little. Head coach Mike Martz calls him the best defensive player in the league. Last week, playing with his shoulder in a harness to protect a torn pectoral muscle that caused him to miss 4 games, Little delivered the best performance of his career. He had 4 sacks, twice causing fumbles, one of which Aeneas Williams returned for a touchdown.
The thing that I don't think people realize about Leonard is he's a smaller defensive end, but his power, he bull rushes offensive tackles, clubs them. I mean, he does moves that bigger defensive ends do, and he's just a force. I don't think offensive tackles really, they don't have a game plan, and they can't guard against him.
Most defensive ends will have a good pass rush technique. They can play the run, but I think where the separation begins is when you have a guy with defensive back type speed, sprinter speed, who plays with great leverage, and I'm going to get back to that same motor.
He has to be factored in. Your whole blocking scheme has to account for him, and I think it makes everybody else along the rush lanes that much better, because the other guys are definitely going to be single block.
I'm happy the way I'm planning to run a little bit better than I did in the past. You know, this year I think I got more tackles than I did last year at this time, and I'm just happy the way I'm planning to run rather than, you know, worrying about pass rush and stuff like that.
With increasing frequency, Smith has been calling blitzes to reduce the number of times Little faces double-team blocks. That's why Rams linebackers and defensive backs already have 3 times as many quarterback pressures and more sacks than they accumulated all of last season. Strong safety Adam Archuleta has 4 of the 8 sacks by non-defensive linemen.
When he calls a blitz, you know, we like it because we know, you know, we're going to get a chance to, you know, wreak some havoc. Leonard's going to be blocked one-on-one, and we all know that's not real possible.
We think if we blitz and we get Leonard one-on-one, it's a successful blitz. We don't have to necessarily have a guy that comes free every play. As long as they can't double-team him, we think something good can happen.
Last week, Mike Martz told me that Leonard Little would have 6 big plays in the game, and he had exactly that. Jaws, when I asked Martz what he expects tonight, he said more of the same. Rams coaches truly believe that he will intimidate right tackle Ryan Tucker, his former teammate with the Rams.
You know, the other intimidator they have is Adam Archuleta. And, you know, Lovie Smith plays that cover 2 about 1/3 of the time. That's not a lot. The reason is Adam Archuleta. He's a line of scrimmage player. He likes to bring him down in the box where he can blitz the quarterback.
The Rams are playing man-to-man with a deep safety. The Vikings have a favorable matchup with the slot receiver matched up on a linebacker. But let's watch what happens from the end zone. The Rams will blitz safety Adam Archuleta, but focus on tackle Ryan Young. it is his job to pull the center to the left by slanting hard across his face. It is linebacker Pizatina Samoa's job to pull the guard to the right by attacking his upfield shoulder. Check out the huge void remaining for Archuleta to fire through. Adam Archuleta is the Rams' biggest playmaker on defense. And in the NFL, it's all about creating opportunities for your playmakers.
The Rams' other defensive playmaker, Leonard Little. 11 sacks in only 8 games, and this Rams defense is built on speed and quickness, and they are starting to come together.
And the speed translates into turnovers.
Well, they make a lot of them, and they get a lot of them.
Right.
But let's face it, it's offense, offense, offense for the Rams, right? Which would be Marshall, Marshall, Marshall. Good on, interesting off. Lisa Salters goes backstage.
So you have a new role this season. You're starring in a reality television show with the rapper Nelly. Whose idea was that?
Kind of both of ours. We get together. There's always some fun. My friends, his friends, we get together. We're always cracking on each other. Tell me about all them theirs and hers and birds.
I don't see nothing wrong with it. It sounds like perfect English to me.
The things that happen, we always say, man, this stuff would be great for a TV show.
Yeah, like that. STO real.
What's the theme of the show? Is it an anything goes kind of show?
Well, it's just real life. Whether we playing pool, gambling, talking sports about whatever happens, some current events, things that's happening in life, what he's going through, what I'm going through, like when we're on the road, things that happens with us, and when they're on tour, things that happens with them.
Now, he's from St. Louis.
Right.
Were you a fan of his before you actually met?
When I came here and the Rams, we kind of got rolling, was the same time his career got rolling. And as we took off, he took off. And, you know, we had met, and we had been in the same places, and I became a fan of his music. And you know, we started hanging out and stuff like that. I see him here or there, and we became pretty good friends.
You were in one of Nelly's videos, one of his new ones for Air Force Ones.
Yeah. I'm not a video buff. I don't see myself in a lot of.
Are
videos.
you like doing?
No. I'm not a dancer or nothing like that. I'm not a flashy cat, you know. So.
Are you scantily clad in the video?
I'm just, you know, I make my cameo. I'm walking out of the store. I run into him and the Lunatics, and they're going in to do their thing, and I got out of there.
Now, see, the women in the video, I'm sure, have no clothes on, and you have clothes on, right?
Of course, I'm wearing clothes. Yeah.
And the women probably don't have any clothes on.
I didn't stay for the girls.
I keep it real dirty, you know how I do.
You missed 5 games earlier in the season. How do you feel right now? How does your body feel?
Feels good. I feel good. I don't feel like I did, you know, 6-7 years ago, but I feel good. When you're away from the game and you don't get opportunity to play, but and the only thing you can do is watch, it makes you hungry for it. You know, it makes you miss it. Sometimes I think you need that.
You now have 127 touchdowns, and you passed some big names last week. Jim Brown, Walter Payton. Did you really grasp the historic value in that?
I haven't yet, just because the season is still ongoing, but I idolize those two guys. I don't want to look at 127 as an ending point. I'm looking ahead, not just at the touchdowns, but at victories and things that the team can accomplish.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much. You know what we haven't seen yet? As time's running down, it's time for Tom to get us jacked up. We'll be back.
By UPS. What can Brown do for you? And in part by Atomic Solar G-Shock. Shock the world.
Thursday night at ESPN, the top players and coaches in college football honored at the 2003 Home Depot College Football Awards Show. Thursday night at 7. Does that include the Maxwell Award?
Absolutely, the Maxwell Award.
President of the Maxwell Award.
Yours truly.
I thought so. You know, we are so dialed in here. And what haven't we done? Jacked up. Were there some hits this weekend?
There were some good hits. It was Showdown Sunday. That's turned into Bonus Monday on Jacked Up. Going to give you a Bonus Monday hit. This is Bobby Ingram, he's going to be hit by Brian Russell and Chris Claymore. Now, he's going to make a good little run here, and you watch him turn it up. Doesn't look like a tremendous hit. I want you to watch the aftermath. Watch the aftermath. Watch him as he tries to get up. Kenny Mixon doesn't know whether he's celebrating or whether he got jacked up. Number 5 on our hit, Eugene Wilson, gonna lay out Chris Chambers right there. Chris Chambers thrown back at least 3 yards. He got jacked up. Number 4, Justin Griffin. Now, Michael Vick had an outstanding game. The ball is fumbled. He's hustling for his football team. He picks it up, maybe the best tackle in football. Chris Jenkins makes the hit. We'll give you another couple of looks at it. Here it is, and he hit. Oh! Right there, Michael Vick back just in time to get jacked up. Number 3, Julian Peterson. Anquan Bolden, who's actually made our jacked up list a couple of times. Anquan Bolden got jacked up. Number 2 on the hit list. This is Brian Russell, and maybe the biggest hit of his career, Atula Mealy, and you can see what he's feeling right there. Oh, my goodness. One more replay. Mealy got jacked up. And number 1 on the hit list, Junior Seau down low, Brock Marion up high, and Kevin Falk, you can see he's out before he can ever hit the ground. There it is from the back. Look. Oh, Kevin Falk got jacked up. Thank you, boys.
Conductor hit.
Thank you, boys.
Did you notice Michael Vick, Triple Crown, made all 3 drives,
Right.
playmaker,
Right.
jack.
Expression. What the heck? Tom.
Michael, 0-1.
Look at you guys. Stu, 4-1.
I'm taking the Rams. No barking in the dog pound.
So if Cleveland wins, and do I get a 2 spot for this one?
You can have my spot. You can have my spot.
Well?
How did Tennessee lose last week to the Jets? That pipe should be right here.
We're moving forward. We can't worry about the past. I got the
Figure skating is next.